Hi, I'm Mike Sintolo, editor of Cabot Market Letter and Cabot Top 10 Report, and I'm here with your Cabot Weekly Review. Well, the market continues to inch higher day by day, and most leading stocks are doing the same. We think the market's still on firm ground, but today I wanted to talk a little bit about a key insight you can have into the action of institutional investors. It's pretty simple, and it will give you a clue as to the market's health. I'm talking about the action of liquid leaders. Let's start here with Apple, which is the obvious example. And the question is, what is a liquid leader and why do you want to follow it? Well, there's three things that go into a liquid leader. One is the stock has been kind of a long-term leader of the bull market. Okay, obviously we're going to be evaluating its action today, and that's going to help us determine the health of the overall market. But you want to make sure the stock is in a long-term uptrend. We're not talking about Research in Motion or Google that have been sort of sagging for many, many months. We're talking about something that's perched up near its high, it held up well during the correction, that sort of thing. Number two, obviously, great sales and earnings growth, new products. Apple fits that bill, so we're not talking about Coca-Cola. We're not talking about Procter & Gamble or anything like that. We're talking about companies that have hopefully something new and revolutionary or at least something new going on in their industry. And last but not least is liquidity. You want a stock that trades at least $100 million a day, preferably more, $200, $300, $400 million. The way you find out that number is you get the average daily trading volume. So say a stock trades 1 million shares a day on average, and then let's say the stock trades at $50 a share. Well, that would be $50 million a day. Pretty simple. That would be a little bit light. Apple is an extreme case. This trades about 20 million shares a day, and it's trading at $270. So you're talking, billions of dollars a day. But it doesn't have to be that heavy. Just something in the, 100, 200, $300 million a day or more is telling you institutions are active in there. So therefore, if you're watching a collection of stocks like Apple, you're really getting an insight into what a lot of the big growth fund managers are doing, hedge fund managers, mutual funds, pension funds, those sorts of guys. What are they doing? And then if you can just make sure the stocks are acting correctly, you're going to know the market itself is on firm ground. This actually helped us stay relatively optimistic, not that we were fully bullish, but optimistic during a lot of the market's correction because a lot of these liquid leaders did not really give up the ghost. Anyway, let's go through a few of them and see what they're saying today. Here's Apple as I clean up the chart. One thing to notice is the stock really didn't go down during the market's correction. It was volatile, but it really just went sideways, which is a small sign of strength. And just notice here, since the market has gotten going, I believe Apple's up 12 of 13 days, something like that. Just a persistent advance in a liquid stock tells you that institutions are active and the stock obviously is near a new high. Another liquid leader is Baidu, B-I-D-U. No surprise here. Again, notice how the stock did not go down during the correction. It kind of built a base on top of a base. I can't say it's been, super strong in the last couple of weeks, but it looks like it's prepping for a breakout and another push to new high ground. This one looks fine. Another liquid leader, Priceline.com. This one's obviously choppier. This had a huge decline during the volcano and the European debt crisis fears because a lot of Priceline's growth now is in Europe. But notice this huge earnings gap, and it's really reacted well since then. It hasn't been able to pull back much at all. That looks fine. The institutions are clearly buying that. Netflix, this one's choppier, but again, you get kind of a brief double bottom base here. And notice how it broke out ahead of the market. This actually broke out in early August on huge volume. Pulled back a little bit during the market's final shakeout, but again, booms right to new high. This looks like a normal pullback here. That looks fine. Salesforce.com, CRM, again, big liquid leader, trades a couple million shares a day at almost $20 a share. And you can see the stock, it's a little extended here, but that's about the worst thing you can say about it. It's just big earnings gap, big volume. As soon as the market got going, it's pulling back calmly and tightly, looks fine. Las Vegas Sands, LVS, this has become much more liquid. And just notice how the stock, how wild it was back here. Obviously the market was in a correction, but just notice how now the daily ranges, while not, small, it's still volatile. It's much more under control than it was before. It's much more institutional quality, and you can see obviously the stock is acting very well. Another one to keep an eye on, Amazon.com. Kind of like Priceline, it undercut its prior low here, which surely shook out a lot of people, but found big support on earnings. And now, as soon as the market got going, the stock really broke out above 130. I won't say broke out, but it really moved above 130, and it's been pretty powerful since. The point here is twofold. One is, it's good to have a good chunk of your portfolio in these liquid leaders. It makes you more aligned with sort of where the institutions are going. Obviously, to be a liquid leader, you're probably going to have new products, great sales and earnings growth. So, you can make a lot of money in these stocks. Again, it's not Coca-Cola, it's not Microsoft, it's not Research in Motion that's lagging. These are really where the action is. But number two is no matter whether you own them or not or how many of these you own, just keeping a list of these sorts of liquid leaders and watching them day by day, week by week, can give you a great insight into the action of the institutional crowd, which in turn will give you the great insight into the market's health. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Thanks for joining me, and be sure to come by again next week for another Cabot Weekly Review.